good afternoon and welcome to India Today. I'm Anjali Istwal. We begin the 3 p.m. bulletin with big breaking news coming in right now. Today is the day when the new slabs of GST were rolled out, and yesterday Congress was quick at criticizing the government and calling it a band-aid. Now the centre is hitting back at the opposition for its criticism. Ashwini Vaishnav, the union minister, has said that the opposition hates it when Indians save. Remember, the Bachat Utsav of the government has also started, and the government has said that Indians will be saving big thanks to these GST reforms. And now Ashwini Vaishnav is saying that it was the UPA, when it was formulating its GST, it had taxed sanitary pads at 13% and cement at 30%, and claim that they have reduced both. Let's listen to what Ashwini Vaishnav said today.
हमारे विपक्ष के साथी वो इस बचत से खुश नहीं है, स्वाभाविक है। उनके समय में केवल बातें होती थी, काम तो होता नहीं था। जीवन के हर मोड़ पे यूपीए के समय में टैक्स का बड़ा एक टेरर था, चाहे हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज हो, चाहे एमएसएमईज हो, चाहे बिजनेसेस हो, उनके ऊपर टैक्स का टेरर था। मोदी जी ने आके 2014 के बाद में पहले जो 50 टैक्सों का मकड़जाल था उसको दूर करके एक यूनिफाइड जीएसटी लेके आए। यूनिफाइड जीएसटी जब सब जगह एक्सेप्टेबल हो गई, तब उसमें और नया नेक्स्ट जनरेशन रिफॉर्म्स लेके आए।
And moving on to another breaking news, this time from United Kingdom. It seems while Donald Trump has hiked the H-1B visa fee and made a one-time $100,000 fee for those visas, UK is planning to attract the talent. In a diametrically opposite step, it is planning to drop its own visa fee so that they can attract the global talent towards them. In fact, it is being said that the Prime Minister's team wants to make it easier to attract people from top universities as US moves in opposite direction. Joining us now is India Today Global's Pranay Upadhyay on the phone line. Pranay, a huge step if it is taken by the Prime Minister of UK, because globally the talent will be available.
Indeed, Anjali, and Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, has instituted a global task force to attract more talent to United Kingdom. And this task force is considering very many ideas, including doing away with the visa fee for the top talent, especially the STEM talent, the science, technology, electronics, and mathematics. These are the areas which are the areas of focus. And if you have seen that Mr. Keir Starmer is trying to revive the UK economy, post-Brexit, the UK economy is facing a lot of challenges, and to attract a lot of talent, especially to UK universities, as well as the other tech institutions and the entrepreneurship sector of United Kingdom. Prime Minister Keir Starmer is exploring various other ideas. However, there is no confirmation about how soon this scheme will be launched, but definitely UK remains an attractive destination for even Indian students. There are also efforts for the migration and mobility agreement. Recently, India and UK signed an FTA, which is likely to get enforced in coming months. And that remains an attractive destination for the Indian students as well as the Indian entrepreneurs.
And we'll be keeping an eye on this, as Indians and top talent of India would also be interested in knowing what developments happen. Thank you, Pranay. And now a big news coming in from the Asia Cup match of yesterday when India and Pakistan clashed. And there was a moment when Pakistani batter Sahibzada Farhan made this gesture called the gun celebration. And now he's defending it. He says that it was a sudden gesture and he doesn't care what people think. He says one should play aggressive cricket. It doesn't matter against which team. It is not necessary that it should be only against India. He says he doesn't care. One should always play aggressive cricket. So remember yesterday when he made a 50, he celebrated it. And this was a gesture that caught the eye of many in the audiences and also the Pakistani players and the Indian players as well. And it was criticized by some. It was said that 50 is not something that everyone celebrates. And this was the gesture, a gun celebration it is called, a gesture of holding a rifle or a stain gun is what was made by the Pakistani batter. But now he seems to be going against the criticism, replying to it and saying, I don't care what people think. He said, I usually do not celebrate scoring of 50 runs, but it suddenly came to my mind that let's do a celebration today. This is what he says. I quote, he says, I do not know how people will take it. I don't care about it. And the rest, you know, you should always play aggressive cricket whenever you play. This is what he is saying. And now it's time for business news. Over to you, Sakshi.
Thank you, Anjali. Good afternoon and welcome to the Market Closing Show, our brand new collab show between Business Today and India Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra. It's 3 p.m. and we are here to give you all the closing action on the Lal Street. First up, let's take a look at what's happening in the world of corporate and financial space. Rating agency Moody's warns growth in India's services exports may be hit by the new H-1B visa fees. Also warns of reduced remittance inflows into India. Tech stocks remain deep into the red after the tech index has fallen as much as 4% in trade today. Selling in the closing hour also sees drag on FMCG, auto and banking stocks. Adani Power surges 20% in trade after GQG Partners reportedly sells 1% stake into the company. The reports have also said that SBI and Citadel were among the big buyers in the $250 million deal on Friday. In fact, the stake also sold at a discount just ahead of 1-to-5 stock split. Silver and gold futures rise to a record high level on the MCX. Gold crosses 1,12,000 rupees per 10 grams mark, while silver futures now touch an all-time high of 1,32,540 rupees per kilogram. Rally largely is led by the expectations of further rate cuts in the U.S. and unending geopolitical tensions. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal is to be meeting U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer in New York tonight. Remember, later the engagement actually comes in a couple of days after Trump administration has actually tightened the screws on H-1B visas. This is the second bilateral engagement in less than 1 week. Supreme Court has issued notices to Ministry of Civil Aviation and regulator DGCA to ensure impartial and expeditious probe into Air India Ahmedabad crash. Petitioner has alleged the preliminary report was incomplete, selective and lacking in transparency. It has also accused the probe agency of unfairly tilting the narrative in favor of Air India and Boeing. Let's straight away talk about the markets in the last half an hour of trade. Right now, if you see the Nifty is trading at 25,199. There's a 0.5% of a dip. Remember, the last half an hour has seen a sudden sell-off into the markets, which has pulled down the index from the day's high point as well. Most of the sectors have also come under pressure because of this. Remember, it was the IT index which has been the biggest sell-off that we've been seeing right from morning. It's still hovering about 3% lower in trade, followed by pharma. We're also seeing the broader markets also come under pressure, over 1% loss for the small cap index and about 0.6% of a decline for the mid cap index today. We're also looking at autos, consumer durables, FMCG and the banking spaces at large also seeing selling pressure. Barring metals, media indices, rest all of the sectors have slipped. It is India Wix that is up by 6%. So the fear is back into the markets, gripping the sentiments. That's the fear index. Let's actually welcome our guest on board. Shahina Mukadam joins in, a market expert, to help us with the more on the market market. Shahina, warm welcome. Good afternoon to you. Help us understand what has led to this sudden sharp sell-off into the markets. We were hoping that the day one of the GST rollout is going to be cushioning the sentiments in the domestic trade, despite the fact that H-1B visa fee has been hiked, disturbing the sentiments once again on the Lal Street.
Some profit booking we saw start off on Friday itself, after a couple of weeks of positive up move. And on the weekend news, regarding the H-1B visas, actually, while it has been rolled back to a large extent, so the impact on domestic IT per se, the listed companies, is not much. It's very minuscule. At the same time, it has affected the overall sentiment. Also, what we have seen is that, the GST is a very big positive, the GST cut, and it's a very big policy move that the government has done. At the same time, a lot of this has been, to some extent, factored into the price over the last couple of weeks, once the announcement came in force. So, and stocks are not cheap, valuations are a bit stretched. So all these factors are putting a pressure on the overall market. Profit booking is there.
Sure. Profit booking is what is being seen in the markets right now. Hold that thought there, Shahina. I'm going to be coming to you, but there's a breaking news that's taking place right now. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal's meeting with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer is likely to decide on the timeline of the further talks, especially the sixth round of negotiations. This after the minister has recently said that he expects an initial trade deal to be signed by the end of November. For more on this, I'm now joined by my colleague, Business Today's Karishma Sudani. Karishma, hi, help us understand what are you getting to hear? What is the agenda of today's meeting and what's likely to be the outcome?
Well, Sakshi, the agenda is pretty much on the obvious note. We are seeing progress in the way trade talks between Washington and New Delhi are progressing. Last week, Brendan Lynch was here. He met Rajesh Agarwal, and there was a positive outcome out of that, following which Minister Goyal is currently on his way to Washington. Tonight, he'll be there. In fact, he'll be meeting officials from the U.S. Commerce Ministry, following which he'll go to New York, and he'll also have a meeting with the USTR. And all of this is hinting on the fact that both the countries are looking to seal the mutually beneficial bilateral trade agreement. Now, let's not forget, Sakshi, initially we were looking at a timeline of fall, and it seems like we are trying to escalate the processes to get to that timeline. And before the end of the year, US and India may actually have a deal on mutual consensus. But what are going to be the sticking points? We'll surely learn in a few moments from now after after the meeting has been concluded in Washington and New York.
Absolutely, Karishma, keep an eye out on that. Of course, this also comes right after the U.S. government has also imposed a $100,000 H-1B visa fee. So the trade war is probably crippling in or tickling into the services sector as well. And we'll have to find out whether there is any talk on that front as well, viewers. But let's get back to Shahina now. Shahina, help us understand when it comes to the trade talks, which have been the sour point for the markets right from April onwards up until now. The markets have reacted and been very volatile on every tweet, every statement that has come around the trade talks thus far. We are still hoping by November end things should get sorted out. We already have our own Commerce Minister in the US at this point in time to probably plug any kind of holes or to really seal any kind of gaps that still exist that are preventing from a deal to take place for sure. But, what is the kind of impact are you seeing on the markets? Do you see a recovery, a sustained recovery and an attempt to again go back towards the erstwhile highs of above 26,277 can only happen once the trade talks are sealed?
I see market moving, to those all-time highs, 26,000 plus looks a bit difficult, at least for the near term. I would say the range would be between 24,500 and 25,500. As far as the US trade talks go, there is so much uncertainty, the market hates uncertainty. And you wake up one weekend and then, things have sort of changed. Now, okay, fine, they've rolled back somewhat on the IT front, on the H-1B visa.
Yeah.
But there were rumors that he may put something on pharmaceuticals. So what is happening is that, one sector is sort of correcting, and then you have investors not wanting to really take a call on
Yeah,
the next sector because you really don't know what's going to happen. So the whole
absolutely.
thing is the uncertainty.
So how do you deal with that uncertainty at this point in time? What are you advising clients and investors to do? Should one avoid the export-oriented sectors like IT, pharma completely? Should one focus on the domestic themes? We are seeing the onset of the GST cuts. I'm sure over the next 1.5, 2 months till the time the final, the entire festive season pans out, this is the space that's going to be also reacting to improved volumes and improved sales because of the GST cuts. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also pointed out a saving of 2.5 lakh crore rupees with common man now, when you include both the indirect as well as the direct tax benefits that are coming. So how are you playing that in terms of the market sentiment in the themes?
Well, one has to be stock specific, sector specific. As of now, the preferred bet would be on domestic play, which could include infrastructure. You have defense. While valuations are not cheap either ways, but at the same time, the order book positions are quite huge. Railway stocks, there also, like you have Railtel, you have Titagar, you have various stocks which are connected with orders which are coming from the government, infrastructure related. So those are the stocks you could take exposure to and take it
Okay.
at any dips that you get, which I'm expecting the market is likely to give you those sort of opportunities, in the near term. You can take these opportunities to add. In terms of the consumer durables, valuations are a bit stretched. So I would look at, because as I mentioned, the upside is to some extent factored in. I would look at stocks like, say, a Blue Star, but on corrections, because valuations are a bit expensive if you look at it even 1 year forward. So be stocks selective. Look at infra bets. Look at the banks. PSU banks have started looking attractive. Some of
Yeah.
the smaller banks like BOB. You have, of course, the larger ones like SBI. Public sector banks look good as of now. Private sector banks have always been a good bet to add for the long term.
Right.
At declines, you can look at something like ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank. You can take your pick. There are a lot of investment opportunities available.
Okay, fair point. So a lot of opportunities available. Domestic is the theme to look at, of course, from a series of segments like infra and like consumption. You've already heard, and of course, from the banking space, China has marked out a few stocks as well. Another space that's actually, taking our attention is the Adani group of stocks. Remember, China, from Friday onwards, we actually saw this, improvement in the sentiments across the entire segment of Adani group stocks because SEBI has now given a clean chit in the Hindenburg research report to the entire group, to the existing officials who were involved, and everybody is now looking at the cheer that is being seen on the stock markets front. I mean, look at in the last 2 days alone, the market cap of the combined 10 stocks that are listed on the exchanges has already seen a jump of 1.7 lakh crore rupees in just 2 trading sessions. That's also now the entire market cap of the Adani group stocks has crossed 15 lakh crore rupees as well. Even today, Adani Enterprises is up by 4%. Look at Adani Green, there's an 11.9% of an improvement. In fact, stocks like Adani Power have jumped the most in just the last 2 sessions. 35% of a rally has been seen. Many of these stocks are up by 20%, 19, 17% in trade today as well. How are you looking at the Adani Group stocks after the improved sentiments?
Yeah, it's been a positive that SEBI has given a green check. Also, there are some domestic plays in Adani Group which look pretty interesting. Like, for example, cement. Ambuja Cement looks quite interesting at current levels. You have Adani Ports, which looks interesting. They have, have a very good target for the next 3 to 5 years. And in terms
Okay.
of their volume increase, we are talking of big numbers. Adani Green. While currently it looks expensive, but if you look at the plans over the next 3 to 5 years, pretty aggressive. So you could say that these are stocks that you could take. Their slightly higher risk because of the news flows, but at the same time you could take your bets and hold it for the medium to longer term.
Fair point. Shaina, hold your thoughts there. We are going to be focusing now our attention onto the commodity space as well. Remember, viewers, it's the first day of Navaratri and gold and silver prices have again shot up to record high levels. Gold futures have surged to scale a new peak of 1,12,277 rupees per 10 grams, while silver has rallied 2% in trade to touch 1,32,665 rupees per kilograms as well. To decode this historic rally, we are now joined by an expert, Vandana Bharti, head of commodity research at SMC Global Securities, is now joining in. Vandana, warm welcome. Good afternoon to you. First up, it's an unstoppable rally in gold and silver. About 45% or 50% of a move in the last 1 year has already been seen. It's the first day of Navratri. People are just about to begin their festive buying, and they are now seeing record high levels on day one of Navratri itself. How do you see this rally unfolding up until Diwali and Dhanteras?
Yeah, hi Sakshi. My warm wishes for Navratri to all viewers and you and your team. And
You too.
see, this is unprecedented year for gold, and we have seen each and every trigger. It is in favor of gold, and now we have still yet two cuts in our hand, and gold is making new high now and then, and this is because of the tariff issues and many uncertainties, and because of that, people they are shifting towards gold. But yes, this time. We have seen record trading volume in gold across
Yes.
the globe, and it is investment as well as a physical demand. What was the pattern few years back? It was investment demand and jewelry demand were
Yeah.
there. But now, this year in 2025, it is a tussle between physical gold and investment gold, digital gold. We can say that. So for remaining 2025, I'm expecting that, okay, two rate cuts are still there in the pocket. So we can expect that this time gold can touch $3,800. It is already $3,750. So we can expect $3,800 to $3,850 in comics.
Right.
And it is based on the option data concentration on a particular strikes. And if
Yeah.
we convert it into rupee terms, we are expecting that if rupee depreciate towards 90 rupees per dollar, we can expect a level of around say 1,15,000 to 18,000 in 2025, and the second target would be of here 1,22,000, because with the
Sure.
onsets of fourth quarter, we can see the weaker data of third quarter. So
Yes,
weaker
absolutely.
data, still we are getting weaker than expected data from US and each and every economy, whether it is PMI data, employment data, or
Sure.
inflation data. So these data will help gold to remain on the higher side in 2025.
Gold can continue to surge above 1,15,000, even reach to 1,22,000 is what Vandana believes. Vandana, we do have a question from one of our viewers asking you on gold, especially T.R. Jaiswal from Chandigarh has written in, says, I have my wedding at the end of November and gold prices are soaring to record high levels. So should I buy now at record high levels or should I wait till Dhanteras? What would you advise her?
I don't see much fall in gold prices because we have seen one step backward and four step forward in gold prices. And since you are buying for your wedding, so it is not an investment demand, it is for generations, I suppose. So for generations and gift purpose or for wedding purpose, 2,000 or 3,000 doesn't make more difference in your budget. And yes, it can impact the volume of gold, but you can at least 25%, 50% you should go for buy, because we are expecting another rate cut in October 2025,
Got it.
which will give another record high to the gold prices. So it is a prudent, good time to go for the prudent decision that go for buy in sell gold. And if it comes towards a
Right.
level of 10,000, again go for buy.
Okay, Vandana, we have one more question that's coming in from Sheena Bora from Nashik. In fact, let me have both Shaina and Vandana listen into this question and they can both give us their views as well. Sheena Bora from Nashik says, in today's uncertain times, where should one invest? Gold, silver or in equities? How would you advise that one, Vandana? Just about 30 seconds to you.
See the CAGR. Nifty, it is 15%, gold, it is 14%, silver is more right now. And silver has more reason to go beyond gold this time, because gold has seen rally in 4 years and it's turn of silver. So I would suggest that go for silver SIP through silver ETF.
Got that. Thanks a lot, Vandana. Let me go to Shahina. Shahina, equity, gold or silver? How are you advising clients?
So I will go with the expert in gold and silver, and I will say 15% in silver, 10% in gold,
Okay.
and 75% in equity. Because if you take the very long term, equity outperforms. So I would say equity.
Okay, go hold that thought there. In meanwhile, viewers, we are looking at this festive season and how the spirits are being seen. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reiterated the call for Swadeshi. Speaking at a rally in Arunachal Pradesh, the Prime Minister has urged self-reliance, a theme he has been consistently pushing for, adding that the key to Atmanirbharta is going to be Swadeshi. Let's listen into what Prime Minister had to say.
आज समय की मांग है, देश की मांग है कि हम स्वदेशी अपनाएं, खरीदे वही जो देश में बना हो, बेचे वही जो देश में बना हो, गर्व से कहें ये स्वदेशी है। मेरे साथ बोलेंगे? आप लोग मेरे साथ बोलेंगे? मैं कहूंगा गर्व से कहें, आप कहें ये स्वदेशी है। गर्व से कहें, गर्व से कहें।
Absolutely. And, when we're looking at the entire festive spirits, it's turning out to be a bonanza, in fact, for the car dealers at large. As the new GST rate cuts have come into effect starting today, dealers across India say their bookings have doubled compared to last year's festive season already. Business Today's Chetan Bhutani is now joining in to share with us what he's been speaking to dealers across the country about, and is going to be sharing with us more details on the front. Chetan, what are the dealers telling you? I mean, it's day one of Navratri. Which are the segments that are actually seeing more inquiries, more bookings and more traction? And is it, a bonanza, in fact, after all, the GST cuts?
Well, it's a completely bonanza for dealers out there. I tried contacting a lot of dealers and they're saying, please don't call us. They're very busy. On an average, we do 2 to 5 bookings a day, but now we are really getting about 45 to 50 bookings, by the hour as we speak. In fact, if I give you the numbers, the 6 to 10 lakh car segment, as usual, is seeing a very good traction. This could also signify mid-size, small SUVs and entry-level car segment revival as well. Dealers are reporting twice the amount of bookings versus last year, when the bookings as compared to the bookings of the festive season last year. Kerala and Tamil Nadu, dealers are saying that 1,000 Maruti cars, Kerala and Tamil Nadu are day as we speak. Mahindra SUVs, MG Venture EV, Hyundai cars are seeing a lot of traction in Rajasthan. SUV, mid-size SUV craze is continuing to see a lot of traction in the northern sector, in the UP sector as well. However, dealers are warning that, especially in the famous trims or in the specific models, there could be a waiting period because the cars are lined up with the OEMs. The problem is the logistics to get it to the dealers now. So the bookings are there, the numbers are there, but the dealers and OEMs will face eventually some problems of long waiting periods of time to come, because the cars are there, but yes, delivery to the dealership and subsequent to the consumer would be a time that they have to wait for.
All right, Chetan, I'm sure this festive season you have a lot to track in the auto segment. This has been one segment that has seen stock prices fly from the last 1 month or all the way up to 30%. In fact, let me go across to Shahina now to help us understand in the auto segment, where is she now more bullish on? Chetan's clearly pointed out, my colleague, that it's the small car segment that's actually seeing more inquiries, more traction on day one of Navratri already. How are you looking at the auto segment at large? Do you think there is still much more to go beyond the last 20 days of a momentum that we've already tracked in the auto segment?
Yes, I think so. And he's flagged off Maruti, which actually is benefiting because it's got the entry-level cars, which coupled with, more money in the hands of, the middle class. I think that is the space which actually could see a good demand increase. Also, raw material prices should even out for the rest of the year. So I believe Maruti should be a beneficiary. You could see some of the two-wheelers, like you have Bajaj Auto. I think there also you could see some pickup in sales. You could look at something like a M&M at dips, because you have tractors that will also do well, though they are not benefiting by the cut in GST. But I think overall monsoons are good. Money in the hands of investors are good. So to that extent, you could see some of these auto companies doing well over the next second half.
Okay, one quick question from one of our viewers for you. Rishabh Nagpur is asking you, Shahina, should I buy a car in the GST rate cut scenario, or should I go after the auto stocks after GST cuts? That's an interesting one. Well, you'll have to shell out a lot more if you want to buy a car, and probably you'll have to buy it on EMIs. But yes, auto stocks are appearing to be much more cheaper. Is that the best way to go about, Shahina?
I always prefer investing in equity. Auto stock would be better, but the actual car is a depreciating asset.
Absolutely. All right. Last 2 minutes to go before the markets shut shop for the day. We are still about 124 points lower in trade. Shahina, I'm going to be asking you in terms of the key sectors that we have already touched base upon, and beyond that, where else are you finding value in the markets?
Well, as I said, PSU banks, that they offer value in the market as of now. Valuations are pretty attractive actually, and I would say business over the next half will be better. You could look at some of the NBFCs also. There also, I think you could do better. The gold NBFCs, that should do good over the next half. You have Manopuram, you have Muthoot. Banks I've already mentioned, BOB. Some of the other PNB, some of these banks, but the valuations are just about one-time price to book. So these look attractive. This is for immediate, but of course the larger caps you could look at for the longer term. You have private sector banks. You have auto stocks. We spoke about Maruti. So you need to have a portfolio in these volatile markets which you can hold for the medium to longer term to make decent money in the medium term for the equity markets.
Okay, hold that thought. I'll quickly wrap up the market and come back to you for the outlook on the markets as well, Shahina. 125 points of a loss, 25,200. We've managed to shut shop above that 25,200 odd mark. You do see that dip getting bought into the sharp cut that we saw into the markets, but of course, it remains to be seen whether there will be a sustained recovery in the following days of the week as well. How is the Nifty Bank looking at this point in time? Weak, of course. It has also ended with losses of about 0.3%. IT index, the one with the top knee-jerk reaction after the H-1B visa fee was hiked by the U.S. government. 2.9% of a loss for the IT sector. It's the top losing sector in today's trade. Pharma, again an export-oriented name. 1.5% of a loss for this one as well. Broader markets also took it in on the chin. You can see a percent loss for the mid caps, 1.5% loss almost for the small caps as well. Consumer durables down by 0.6% in trade. FMCG also seeing about 0.5% of a loss, and autos also dragging by 0.2%. Just like how Shahina talked about that we were already looking at a run-up in the beginning, in the run-up to the GST rate cuts. Which have rolled out today, and therefore you are seeing some profits being taken off from the table today. Barring metals, the media stocks, financial services a tad bit, rest all of the sectors have actually slipped in trade. But which are the top movers on the Nifty today? Adani Enterprises topped the charts with over 4% gains. Eternal moved up 1.5% higher. Bajaj Finance moved up 1.4% up. Those are the top three movers. Adani Ports and UltraTech Cement, the other two majors, and of course Bajaj Auto. So you had Adani stocks, you had even the finance names, cement names also coming up into action in today's trade. What slipped? No surprises for guessing. Tech Mahindra down 3%. TCS, Infosys, the top three names are from the IT pack. You also had Wipro and Cipla and HCL Technologies. So large part of the losses on the Nifty have actually come in from the IT pack today. When we look at the top movers and the top laggards as far as the Nifty 500 names are concerned, that's a broader understanding of how the broad markets performed today. You had, MK Global Financial Services up, Adani Power, Adani Total Gas, Adani Green Energy as among those top movers again in the broadest index. You also had Borosil Renewables up in trade as well. Some of these names that pulled up, but what declined was clearly Career Point, EduTech. You also had names like Vimta Labs, for instance. names like even Car Trade Technologies, Zensar Tech, these were the top tracks as far as the Nifty 500 names are concerned. But let's go back to Shahina to understand, how do we expect and spot opportunities from here onwards as well. Shahina, on the markets, you did say in the beginning that you do not expect a swift run-up to the erstwhile record highs. You expect a market to be in a range of 25,500 is the way that you expect the markets to move forward to, but not beyond that. It is going to be still challenging. What do you think is going to be the key aspect or the key trigger that can actually pull the markets out of this consolidative zone?
See, we had a good market close today. Above 25,100, it still looks like, the market is finding good support. I believe that we'll have to wait and see how the numbers pan out actually in terms of the Q2 numbers. As and when the numbers come out, stocks which show good quality results will actually outperform. So you have to wait for the Q2 numbers now.
Q2 numbers, and that's where the trigger will actually come in from. All right, Shahina, thank you so much for being with us on the show today and, of course, helping us understand the current market sentiment and what comes in forward from here. That's a wrap on the Business Today show. Now, you can also send us your mutual fund stock queries as well that you have on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on your screens. Many thanks for being with us, but do stay tuned. Of course, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., Abha Bakaya will be joining in to get you all the morning action.
नवरात्रि के प्रथम दिवस